The Kesh Foundation is proud to announce the Second Universal Council and Second Science Conferences, which will be held in Rome, March 27th through 31st, 2017. If you're interested in attending both or either conference, please go to www.keshfoundation.org and click on New Web Shop at the top of the homepage. You can attend the conferences as an audience member or participate as a science conference presenter. Presenters will be allocated 1 hour to present products and innovations in Kesh plasma technology in any of the following categories: space technology, health, materials, energy, agriculture, transportation, the environment, GANs and nanotech, and any other area that applies. Foundation distributors and manufacturers will be attending the conference, affording you the opportunity to build relationships to promote and market your products. The full package price for both conferences is €1,650 per person, which includes daily attendance to the conferences, 6-night stay in Rome, as well as breakfast, tea, and lunch on the days of the event. Accommodations for this package is based on double occupancy. Check-in on the 26th of March, check-out on the 1st of April. The full package price for 2 persons for both conferences is €3,300, which includes daily attendance for 2 persons, 6-night stay in Rome, as well as breakfast, tea, and lunch on the days of the conferences. Accommodations for this package include a twin room with a king-size bed. Check-in on the 26th of March, check-out on the 1st of April. You can stay additional nights if you wish at a cost of €175 per night per person. A single ticket for those who wish to only attend the Universal Council Conference, which takes place on the 27th and 28th, is €750, which includes the price of admission plus 2-night stay in Rome in a 2 single-bed room, as well as breakfast, tea, and lunch on the days of the event. Accommodations is based on double occupancy. Check-in on the 26th of March, check-out on the 29th. A 2-person ticket for those who wish to only attend the Universal Council Conference is €1,500, which includes the price of admission plus 2-night stay in Rome in a hotel room with a king-size bed, as well as breakfast, tea, and lunch on the days of the event. Accommodations is based on double occupancy. Check-in on the 26th of March, check-out on the 29th. A single ticket for those who wish to only attend the Universal Science Conference, which takes place on March 29th through March 31st, is €1,150, which includes the price of admission plus 4-night stay in Rome in a 2 single-bed room, as well as breakfast, tea, and lunch on the days of the event. Accommodations is based on double occupancy. Check-in on the 28th of March, check-out on the 1st of April. A 2-person ticket for those who wish to only attend the Universal Science Conference is €2,300, which includes the price of admission plus 4-night stay in Rome in a hotel room with a king-size bed, as well as breakfast, tea, and lunch on the days of the event. Accommodations are based on double occupancy. Check-in on the 28th of March, check-out on the 1st of April. If you would like to attend and prefer to make your own arrangements for accommodations, the price of admission to either conference is €200 per day. We look forward to meeting you at the Second Universal Science and Council Conferences in Rome, March 27th through 31st, 2017. The Kesh Foundation is extending an invitation to medical doctors of any practice and specialty to apply to the Foundation's private weekly medical teaching workshop. This includes medical doctors, dentists, and veterinarians. Scientists of the Kesh Foundation developed different types of plasma therapies and cures that utilize advanced, non-invasive plasma technology. The weekly private medical teaching workshop educates doctors to the plasma science behind the therapies, along with the functionality and operation of revolutionary plasma medical devices. The goal of the private teachings is to add plasma health knowledge to the profound knowledge of medical doctors. The weekly class is broadcast live over the internet through a secure private channel every Wednesday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central European Time. Presently, the class is only offered in English. However, you are free to bring a translator to the class. If you can't participate in the live broadcast, you can watch them later at your convenience through a private internet portal. Every patient's case that is discussed in the workshop will be kept anonymous and private. This includes cataloged findings and data gained from the analysis of the patient's health issues. Any medical doctor in the world who wants to participate can do so by sending an email to doctors@spaceshipinstitute.org. In your email, please state your willingness to participate in the medical teaching workshop. If you're planning on bringing a translator to the workshop, please state this in your email as well. After we receive your email, we will contact you with the instructions on how to apply to the workshop. As a part of the application process, applicants who apply, including any translators brought into the workshop, will be required to sign the Keshe Foundation's World Peace Treaty, which can be found at the following web address. All applicants will be required to provide proof of their education and ability to practice medicine, and will also be required to pass an extensive security background check before they are granted access to the teaching workshop. Healthful plasma technology is here, now, the use of which is increasing exponentially on a day-to-day basis on every continent. We encourage you to come and learn about this revolutionary technology. Apply today. The Keshe Foundation is extending an invitation to experienced farmers, agricultural specialists, and researchers to apply to the Foundation's private weekly agriculture teaching workshops. If you fall into one of these categories and are interested in plasma technology integration into agriculture, you're invited to apply. Scientists and agricultural practitioners of the Keshe Foundation continually develop and apply new methods of food and fiber production, soil fertility management, plant and livestock health management, and increased farm productivity using the most advanced plasma technology that is taught at the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. In the teaching workshop, you'll learn the science of plasma technology and its applications in the field of agriculture for enhanced and equitable global food production while minimizing costs and external inputs. Practicing farmers and Keshe Foundation scientists will demonstrate their application of plasma technology in agriculture and the ensuing results of such applications, thus deepening and enriching learning for all participants in the private teachings. Participants are encouraged to demonstrate their farming practices in the teaching workshop. The private teachings are broadcast in English live over the internet through a secure private channel every Wednesday at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central European Time. If necessary, you may bring a translator to the workshop. All applications are required to provide proof of their education and professional qualifications, must pass a security background check, and are required to sign the Keshe Foundation's World Peace Treaty, which can be found at the following web address. Translators that attend must also pass a security check and sign the World Peace Treaty. For details on how to join the private teachings in agriculture, send an email to agriculture@kfssi.org stating that you'd like to participate. Include in the email your education and agricultural experience and reasons for your interest in plasma technology. Applicants will be contacted with further instructions and details on the application process.
Welcome everyone to the 153rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And it's Thursday, January 5th, 2017, not 16. And it's a new beginning with this year as the number 9 it becomes exposed. And becomes a new beginning with the 2017 from the 9 of 2016. And I noticed today's workshop also adds up to 9 as an ending of the old and a new beginning as well. So we're at a juncture here of new beginnings, it looks like. So, Mr. Kesh, I'm sure you have lots to speak of today, and understand there's a limitation on today's workshop of a maximum of 3 hours. So we'll probably end shortly before that to allow Mr. Kesh to get on to some other things. Okay, are you ready to go ahead, Mr. Kesh?
Yes, good morning. Good day to you. Wherever and whenever you listen to these broadcasts, as usual, we try to open new path into the new knowledge and to see where we go and how we can support each other with the new knowledge. We have very little announcements to make this week, except that what we have received from the Italian authorities in respect to the earthquake situation in Italy. Is Giovanni in the background? Do you see him on the panel? Received from the Italian in respect to the
Hello, I'm hearing myself back.
situation in Italy. Is Giovanni in the
Hello,
background?
Yes,
I'm
Akash, I'm
hearing
here.
myself back. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Giovanni, good morning.
Good morning, Sakesh. Good morning to everybody.
Giovanni, could you enlighten us what has happened in Italy, because it's fundamental for the rest of the cash foundations in Europe?
Yes, it's very important. It's the first time in Italy that we have an official authorization from civil protection to have to support the emergency for the earthquake. The situation is very important because who give to us this authorization is one of the founder who have founded the civil protection. So is a very important person in Italy in this sector. The other aspect is that the civil protection of Italy is the first one in the world, and all the other countries come in Italy to study the structure of civil protection. So this is an example for all the world, this kind of structure in Italy. And when we have an authorization from a structure of this way, is a very important things for an aspect for all the rest of the world. And the situation is it's very big because are 15,000 people that are in tent on the hotel and some other structure for the earthquake. And I spoke personally with a chief of civil protection, and he said he was very scared because now the position of the earthquake is moved down near to Rome, as you said a few times ago before. And so this means that maybe the next earthquake are more near Perugia, Rome, and so on. And so they need to have help, support for these things. There is another news that they, after that we can give this support, take all the information of our support for became stable for the next time, like a partner of civil protection in Italy. So the next time that we have that there is some problem, they ask immediately to us support if there is something that they need or what we can do for this for the next emergency. So the other aspect that is possible to make the same things in other countries of Europe, because this now is an example, but we can replicate it in other country like Greece or Slovenia or Spain, and so on. And after we can finally we can be recognized from the central structure of the Europe. And this is very important. There is another aspect that was important, that in this case of emergency, some local chief, like the mayor or the chief of the region and so on, have the possibilities of recognize like the rule of they have the same how do you call it, the same level of Ministry of the Health. So in this way, in this moment of emergency, they give to us this kind of possibility, authorization. Yeah, thank you. And so this is another aspect that's very important. We go there with two camper, two trucks that are full of patch. One comes from Italy, and the other one is come from France. Ready to go tomorrow. Will be there. They start to give the patches. They have two big roll-up that show that are of foundation, and can so the people know that we give and we explain what give to them. And after we take some information from these people that we give the patch, because after we contact them and take the testimonials, and this testimonial go to the government, and the government can check that the technology work, and finally we became partner of the government in emergency. This is the program. That's
what
it
you mean?
that when the civil protection check that the people feel good and so on, so we give this material to them, and when they have checked this, we became official partner of civil protection. So the next time that there is an emergency, they call immediately us and ask to us if we can help them in this emergency.
But this is what you mean. Let me clarify something. This is what you already have done, and that's why they have given you the clearance to do this.
Yes.
Before.
Today it's done.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
yes.
That's why they have asked you to become part of the civil defense, because they've seen the results.
Yes. They have seen the results. For became partner, official partner for forever. They necessary to do the next step, and this next step is we help them to close the file. Is another step, but we close without problem, because it's simple. It's not difficult to do.
Thank you very much, and
No,
congratulations.
no, you're welcome, Sakesh.
Um,
It's a pleasure to help humanity.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Giovanni and Sabrina have been working closely with civil defense. And as you remember, people from Austria, France, Germany, Holland shipped in a lot of pads after the first earthquake and after we opened the Keshe Foundation factory to the national government. It takes years to achieve such a position that you become part of the civil defense support team. As you are aware, now that we have received the first authorization to be ready for the next disaster when it happens, in them have seen the use of the patches because they already asked in the past couple of months for further more supplies that they wanted to use for the people who needed it after the another accidents or whatever. This gives us the acceptance of the technology on a medical level internationally once the second level comes in. I was talking to a civil defense officers in another nation, and they said, do you know what this means, Mr. Cage? This means you have become equal to Red Cross in a very short time. The difference between your organization and the Red Cross is that they have to go and buy tents and technologies that they can help with your Foundation organizations worldwide, and now with the civil defense, you produce everything yourself and you bring a new technology right across very fast. This is the beauty with what is happening. The request and acceptance at this level, it means our health patches and pens and waters which has been distributed during the disaster the last time has been shown to do the work and has gone into the next level. Now the data collected is just formality to complete the permanent membership on this level. This is important for all the Keshe Foundations worldwide to take a step. If you are setting up to be able to help your nations in time of disaster, we will supply the confirmation letter to you to supply to your authorities that you become part of the civil defense. This is important because now officially the health unit is shown working. This is a breakthrough, and thanks to all of you in what you've done. The major breakthroughs are coming one at a time, but in a very extensive way. With this, we can immediately join worldwide civil defense in the next 12 months, 2 years, and no organization has ever reached this so fast. It's thanks to your work, and especially I have to thank Klaus in Austria, people in Holland, volunteers in France who build these patches to just deliver, to show that the technology not only works, but it's an international cooperation, is not an Italian cooperation. And this brings us to where we wanted to be. Slowly but gradually we are getting to where we should be as one nation. In the next 7 days, you hear a lot. In the next 14 days, you hear about new developments around the Keshe Foundation worldwide. This is important for us to develop and let the governments to come to accept the technology. In Italy, we have a further announcement in the next 7 days, 14 days, that a lot of you who know about what we are doing, we've been recognized on a very large scale. We are hoping to finalize it through the test done by the governmental support, local government supports, showing that the technology is highly acceptable for decontamination. It's taken us 3 months hard work, and I thank Paolo, who's working relentlessly in Italy to bring this into full operation. The Keshe Foundation, after next week or 2 weeks, under the new heading up new management team, which we put in position, will set up a world decontamination, water decontamination, air decontamination section, which brings everything back again, based and headquartered in Valletta and in Italy. This gives you a lot of leverage. In a way, any water contamination, any disaster, will allow us to be able to submit and deliver technologies, rapid technology deliveries to support. On this basis of environmental water cleaning, um, we have Alex in the background who's been trying to sort out a way with oil decontamination. As in Nigeria, there is a huge problem with it, and other oil people who are familiar with the oil business, even drilling oil drill holes creates a lot of local pollution. We have set up a small unit which will collaborate with the Italian organization in Ghana Atomic for oil decontamination. We brought in a petroleum engineer who understands both sides. He's been and he's seen the operation of the GANs, and now I was talking to him yesterday. He says he sees how we can start the process of decontamination through use of the GANs materials and other ways. So we are breaking into this level of decontamination. Headquarters and base will be in Italy. Giovanni is extensively involved with it. Giovanni now runs the whole of the Italian Keshe Foundation on that side. And this will give us the opportunity, like the oil disaster in Gulf of Mexico, we can deliver technologies which is natural. It's like the water of the sea, but dissolves the oil, any spillages. As you remember, when the Canadian government blocked us and imprisoned me for 11 days, I was on the way to deliver this technology to Gulf of Mexico. Now, officially in Ghana Atomic Keshe Foundation Corporation, we have put this, and it goes as a PhD and a master's degree with an engineer who's a Ghanaian petroleum engineer who will take this, he has started already, into the actual delivery of a technology. Next 6 months, 12 months, we hear from him as he is putting, I've asked him to put a team of African nation scientists in petroleum to solve the problem. I see how it can be done. I saw it how it could be done during the BP Petroleum in Gulf of Mexico. Now we put a scientific team. As I said, we make Ghana the center of in what we call excellence of the space technology, and this is another step towards it in collaboration with what we have achieved in Italy. These things will not be possible without the full support of all of you. A lot of you have made or have made comments on what I said last week, that we are reorganizing. The Keshe Foundation is reorganizing. There are people who are around us. We have released number of people from their duties, and some people have moved into new duties. And to become international the way we have become means we appreciate the talent of our people. We all came in as volunteers in different ways to help and support, and some of us work full-time for the foundation. We are looking for experts. Now in Ghana we have reached 22, and this month we moved to just under 100 employees by the end of the month or beginning of the February. We have become part of the structure of only we employ masters and PhD engineers at highest level that we can leap forward. This is what we expect from those who've been sitting around and waiting for the factories to come in, a blueprint to come. The blueprint has to be your thoughts and the way you think something can be done to put in the market that it can help the others. The cooperation and collaboration between the Keshe Foundation factories has to come from the heart and understanding, and not waiting just we set a factory up. Give us the blueprint. We want to copy. We looked at Ghana. We looked at Ghana deeply in what is the need here, what we have here, what we can use locally. We have only shipped 11 items or 10 items from Europe to support us here because there wasn't here. Everything else we've achieved in setting up the factory is locally made. We are not looking beyond the borders unless there is nothing there that we can support or we cannot get it the time lapse we need. Stop looking at the blueprints, what they're going to give us. The blueprint is what your nation needs. I get this from the people who are signing for the factories. Can you give us the blueprint of the generator? Can you give us the blueprint of the maggraph system? Can you give us... You look inside your nations, see what you need. In Ghana, we need clean water. In Ghana, we need to overcome a lot of what I call infections, a lot of bacteria and the rest, which is causing problem internally. And these are what we are responding to immediately. Water treatment, places where the medical application is reachable at a cost people can afford. This is what your job is, not just looking for a blueprint for us to print that we can make money out of it. Look what you need, look what is needed in time of emergency and support yourselves and use the local material. China should not become the last point. China has to become the support point. If we cannot get it, we have reliable sources in China that can help us. Use a coconut. Use anything which is locally available that you can bring the change. You don't need to have sophisticated blue containers to make maggraph systems or power generators. You don't need to have the most advanced whatever to do. Caroline in past 3 weeks in Ghana has moved into the what we call animal care. She has brought the change. The doctors now, they see how dogs which die and have been dying very at young age with very little amount of CO2 and other materials which Caroline has put together and give it to them freely, have saved lives of dogs one after another. Other animals. They are puzzled how simple drinking water can change life of loss of an animal. What it was not available in Africa. She's been asked to give lectures in different cities because by the vets, by the people who do the animal care. Because in such a short time they've seen where they were losing the animals. Now animals within 24 hours are back live and running. This is where we have to see where the demand is, that we can meet the local demands. As I said, you don't need to wait to come from America or approved by FDA of United States that you can use it. Our ancestors as medicine men did not have FDA and saved a man's life all their life. I come from that bloodline. You are in South America, manufacturing Peru. Look what is needed locally in Peru. You are in Singapore, you are in Australia, you are in Philippines. You have worked enough. See what is needed. The whole hunger and the greed goes, give us the power unit, that's all we need. You're in the wrong place to start with. Do what we've done in Africa, do what we've done in, Alex is doing in Nigeria, Dr. Wato is doing in Kenya. We are responding to the African need, to the local need which brings the change. We are not looking to bring the most sophisticated thing you plug in. 5% of the nation can afford these things. 95% lives in huts. 95% lives in the conditions that the food is needed daily, that they don't go hunger. We are responding to that 95, and the 5 take the pleasure. You have to understand a very fundamental point. We all thought America was the land of honey and whatever, till we had the hurricane in Louisiana, and we saw through America is worse than Central Africa. Poverty is beyond imagination. We will receive the data, how many children go hungry in developing countries. 35% children live below poverty line in the United States. 5% in Norway, 15% in Korea. The richest nations, more people go hungry because they cannot afford the expensive food. The statistics is on the internet. Just come out, have a look. There is a saying in English, they say fur coats and no knickers. Which means people who used to have still wear the old fur coats with full of mites in it and animals in it, but they don't have the money even to wear underwear. And the Western world has reached that point. And the other nations are not far behind. We are not preaching, we are teaching how for you to start changing the course. You sign the manufacturing, you want to be a manufacturer. I don't want to give you the blueprint of the generator. I will not give you this and that. See what you need locally and respond to it and use local materials. Everything we have said, the Keshe Foundation, Ghana factory, the offices, everything else, is 100% Ghanaian produced. It doesn't look brandish like the laboratories of the Western world, but it produces material better than the Western world does. We need the demand of the local community. We have put in educated people back to work when there was no job. We're putting pride back into the nation. We are meeting with the world leaders and they understand the change. It's your job. There's no more teaching of show us this and that. You're learning all. We just try to enlighten and teach more and more. To understand more in depth, to understand what needs to be done. There are 3 websites on the whole Keshe Foundation around the world, which are based by one misconducted person we all know. As they said, we didn't see thousands of websites, all ends up with one name, DL. And that will be handled very soon. Because we need to bring people and they do the job for us. In a very recent high-level discussion, one person brought, we were told in a meeting about, have you seen Keshe about the Keshe, facts about the Keshe? They said, have you seen who they have arrested with the guy who's writing it? One person, one man. And I give you a warning, we clean everything up. You remember when we put the Sterling on the stand? He wrote a lot. He wrote a lot. Till exactly about a year ago, we opened his hand that he's abused his own children, and he doesn't write anymore. At the moment, he's become the biggest informer for FBI, 25 years in prison for raping his own children. The people who are guilty write everything to divert attention. We teach to bring knowledge. People of the same get together. Mr. Sterling raped 2 of his own daughters. Look who's got 2 daughters, and writes the same. We have evidence of child abuse and child trafficking through the website. We have hard copy evidence and is shared with the Interpol and other offices. The secret was nobody could point a finger. How could be done? Look at the websites, which was run by the same man. The victims could not remember, so there was no trace, but the gentleman is a hypnotizer. Children are raped while they are hypnotized. Evidence is heavily loaded to one side. Even his own children don't remember, because he is proud to announce he is a hypnotizer. You cannot remember what is done to you or what you do when you are hypnotized. Documents have been delivered to international authorities. Let them write. You know what the technology does, and that's where we are strong. This was the biggest clue. How could we find out? How could it be that there is no witnesses? Witnesses at the age of 6 have taken picture of and publicly announced they need it. We have taken all the website pages. You have to be 6-year-old to get a free ticket to a cinema. In which nation do you need a free ticket to a cinema and give the picture of your child, a daughter, and cannot be more than 6 years old? Because when they're hypnotized, they can't remember a thing. Now you see the truth, Mr. DL. We praise him for him to make more mistakes for the authorities to track, and we have achieved it. Go on the websites which is run and you see the whole mentality is on sexual abuse, tools, writings. Websites asking for children, girls not more than 6 years old, to be given a free ticket to cinema. All the pictures and videos have been taken by security services. If you are desperate for a cinema, you take your daughter for to be taken a picture by Mr. DL, and he's a good hypnotizer. Now you know the truth about the operation of child trafficking. The reason we've been attacked heavily since we come to Ghana, because we'll release a website published, secure line by the British government national securities. Some of it you can reach yourself. And this website says the highest rate of child trafficking come from Ghana into Antwerp. So we are touching somebody's income, and has to be written harder. Just go on the internet, write child trafficking, Ghana, Belgium, or the highest rate, the most advanced nation in child trafficking in Europe. It all comes up to Antwerp, and we know who's in Antwerp and why the attack on Ghana since we come here has increased. Orphanages have no records of children, and don't forget, DL was born in Africa. He was raised in Africa. He knows all the loopholes. Hypnotizing does not leave any memories. Now you understand why we keep so quiet and we let them write relentlessly. We have the documents. We have the pages on the internet which is asking for 6-year-old girls. And funny enough, one of the victims' picture is on the front to attract a young blonde girl who's been a victim herself. This is what we leave it. And it's for you to find out why, and write to the world authorities, to the police. How come they're looking for 6-year-old children on a website for a picture for a cinema? Don't forget, give them the link that is holistic and proud to hypnotize 100 people in the University of Brussels in one go. Now you know why we were silent. We stay silent while we collect ammunition, information that we can help you. The links are there. Very soon we open a line called Facts About DL. Go and check. And what we ask you is how many people got a free ticket and how many children's pages like Mr. Sterling appears around the world. Now you know and how vicious attacks on us started. Because we informed him that we have found a website and the page is looking for children with his company's names on it. The companies he owns and run by his own family, and a picture of his own daughter used on them. We said we do the cleanup. The cleanup starts. We are not afraid a Zoom channel to be taken down, but we freed many children. Authorities in Ghana are looking and will issue warrants for the arrest for the children who have been trafficked from here into Antwerp using online internet hypnotism, as he claims he's very good at it. Now you understand the cleanup comes within the structure. Go on the internet and you know how you can be happily cubed, and look into it. Gives you free cinema ticket for your 6-year-old daughter. Why not 20-year-old? Not why others. Now you understand how pedophiles work. Now the links will be in the truth. Let's go back on the science we are, and encourages a lot of people to be. In the last teaching, we put a very clear indication, and we were told, you said it's going to be an important teaching, but there was nothing about it so much. It was one of the most important teachings that we done, because we gone into the position away from the matter into the soul, the essence of the creation. This is what I said in the teaching last week, that in the past weeks we are going to a next level. The next level, which is the operation of your soul, which gives you the manifestation of physicality is what man has not been aware of. It's a new teaching. It means a lot to those who understand, and it means nothing to those who don't understand. It means that as we are going into the deep space technology, we were used to the present space program to wear the clothes, to wear these helmet, pressurized clothing, that we train for a long time in the water that we can get into space. Now with the new technology, now with the new approach, not only we got rid of this space suit, but now we understand the human body itself is a suit that can change according to the environment which you arrive in. This was the change. This was what I said in the teaching, that people will understand according to their intelligence. We explained that the soul of the man is the center of the man, is the essence of his creation, is the essence of his existence on this planet. Now, if you could understand that now, when you have the essence, when you have the what we call in world of uh, what creation, the seed of life, and is active, you can take it anywhere, it'll grow according to the environment. We've seen the man has taken, let's say, an apple from one place and he's taken it to another place, another part of this world. The apple has changed its characteristics to fit the environment. In essence, still apple. It used to be red and green, here now is yellow, with a slightly different texture because the environment is different. This is what's going to happen to man. We carry the essence, we understand, we teach you to understand the operation of your soul, that in space your understanding it can manifest itself and yourself in a condition of the environment. You don't need to be in the suit of the man and cover yourself in a spaceship, that you still become a fish in the tank of the new world you travel into. To be able to live in the environment, you have to become part of the environment. You cannot walk on the street in Planet Zeus with a helmet, with a spacesuit, walking. I want to be one of you. Doesn't fit. But if you understand how you can use the essence of the emotion through your emotion to reach your soul, then in the space you arrive, you feel good. The emotion fits. The environment feels good. You take the manifestation. You dress the body of the man the way you want it, according to the environment you arrive. This is what the others are doing across on this planet. Because they have reached the maturity of understanding the operation of the soul. This is why we are going in a deeper and deeper teaching. It is not that there is nothing in it. It means you never understood. And this is my job, to teach you more, to understand more. That you can overcome these, what I call phobias, these misguided informations. You got to understand a very, very important condition. You got to understand a very fundamental point, that once the man understands the reversal position, man will become part of the creation, the true creation. In plasma technology, we teach, can I share please? In the space technology, we teach something very fundamental. And that is, we say in plasma technology, we go backwards. We go into essence of creation. We go into understanding of the creation. What we understood, what we did not understand. We said that we create the soul, or the soul is created. In this process, it goes through emotion with condition of the environment leads to manifestation of physicality. Go back to the teachings of the Keshe Foundation. A plasma. We radiate out as magnetical. That at the point of interaction with the environment, we manifest, we see the physicality of it. We talk about what is, on the other hand, gravitational, which means we go back to the essence. What is not comes back in. So using the gravitational, we can go to the essence, to the origin according to the strength. Translate this knowledge back to this side. Now you see the beauty of the knowledge given. By the delivery of the fields, we gave it physicality of manifestation. We done the same here. We gone from the soul through emotion to manifestation of physicality. Now, if you understood that how your maggraph system works and how there is always a gravitational against magnetical, which is a stronger. So the man all needs to understand is the step, how to revert. How to use his physicality through his emotion to reach his soul. And then you can take this soul anywhere. The plasma of a copper stays a copper, does not matter where you take him, atomic mass is the same. So shall be the physicality of the man in respect to his environment, according to the essence of strength of his soul. Now you understand what the teaching of last week was about. Now you understand why, how we taught the GANs, the plasma and the rest, and some people explain it and define it in their own way. It's not that they're wrong, it's beautiful, because this is what I understand. And every understanding doesn't matter wrong to us, it brings a fruit of knowledge to the man who understood it to his level. So no one is wrong. Now you understand where we are heading for, what it means, why we have to study the existence of our own soul, because it's the key to our existence across the universe. We travel with a spirit ship as a group. We come to the destination. Who wants to stay can change to the environment. Who wants to carry on to the next station can carry on. And they become manifestation of their existence in the new location. But the problem is that you have to understand different methods of the transportation. Different methods of doing things. Different methods of delivering things. It's you who has access to your emotion and no one else. And it's you who has to understand the existence of your physicality through emotion of the environment, and your soul has led to the physicality of your presence and how you can go back and change. It's you who have to understand you don't need the physicality of the term to be able to exist. It's you who have to understand that Understanding that there is a structure of the soul. I lost an arm in an accident. How can I create it instantaneously? It's embedded within it. It's like, as we said, in the plasma, here is hydrogen, but here you have copper. It doesn't mean that the copper doesn't exist. Copper is still in its field, the strings in the plasma of the hydrogen, but at a hydrogen level, it manifests itself as an entity of the environment. So, can you? So is the essence that you should be able to do if you can understand your own creation and through emotion to reach your soul. It's not magic. And those who don't understand means they are not mature yet. The more you interact, the more you understand your own emotion, the closer you become to find a path to your soul. And this is our job. You are ganses, and we put ganses and we see the field of interaction, which is the mother. The whole lot is the same path. You call it the plasma, you call it the gans, you call it the matter state. It's all the same. It's all transformation and transportation of fields. Nothing else. There is no magic that you can be afraid of. We've seen people who come around the foundation after a while and says, we cannot do what we thought we can do. We would like to do something else for the time being. It means it's good. This is how you understood. Maybe the information which you carried and you understood and is deposited in your RNA, DNA or soul is there to enlighten your child in the future to go to the next level to understand the universal community. The beauty with this technology is we don't expect everybody to be in the space tomorrow morning. We allow those who understand and have understood to go to the next level by their own, not by choice of us. Going into space, in a deeper space, without understanding the structure and the work of the soul, the emotion and physicality, is jumping off Eiffel Tower with no parachute and hoping to survive. There are three problems with jumping. First of all, you got to get the leap. Second of all, the building opens up like a funnel. You never ran outside the building. You hit the physicality and then the height loss. It's the same in travel in space. First is fear of going, opening, and then is fear of how we do, how we achieve, how we see, how we operate, how we would like to be operating in where we are, how much we want to go, and to what extent we are prepared to take of the height of the Eiffel Tower. Do we jump off the first lift? Is safe. We might stay alive, and there is nothing that we can hit except the ground. Or understanding, but jumping off the first lift, then on the first level, I have trust in my soul, and I can develop technology within me with my own emotion that I can become a bird of a space. In the space there is no land to crash into. It is how you want to perceive in the open plasma of the universe. This is the beauty of it. And it takes time to learn. Man did not take off the first time he took into the wings. From the east to west took 700 years. Chinese, the first kites was 700 years before Wright brothers ever tested it and tried it. But it was not to be known, so they had to be the first. This is what many men before us who have managed to develop to the next steps and have understood the existence of universal community have already joined in the pattern of life of the universe. This time is not a few, it's teaching for the mass. We think the man is mature enough that by majority of 5 to 10%, we can carry the rest through. It might fail, but it's a chance worth taking in what is to come. Many times I've said in my public teachings, the revolutions like Iranian revolution in 1970s, 1980s, did not become out of nowhere. It came because 5 to 10%, less than 5% of educated were trying to carry 95% of illiterate or people who thought it's their right just because they can read a little bit more to have everything. That's where everything snapped. 5% carrying 95. We are trying to increase this number to at least 20-25% in coming years. That in trusting one, the rest will understand and we can teach more to join in. That we open the community. It's no use opening the space universal community to the man when they're still carrying sidearms and they think the weapon technology they have is the latest. The will, which is the connection between the physicality and the emotion, you call it the will, can change the condition of the soul, and through it, the condition of the soul can change another man's job. I came across one of the top men in weapon strike. That is a weapon strike technology of one of the most advanced military companies few years ago. And in a very simple way, I made my wish: this man should not be in this job. Technology. You don't need to go and protest. You need to understand your own soul, that the creation of the emotion within the structure of the soul of the man reaches another man. Men will disarm themselves. You shall see my work very soon. 2 weeks ago was 21st, 22nd of December. Now we operate.
Mr. Cash?
Operate world leaders without them knowing what they are doing, because it's our wish to. Can you hear me?
It's breaking up quite a bit. I was waiting for you to hear me. Can you stop your screen share? That might help your voice.
Yes.
You've been breaking up since you advised about meeting the person. That's all we got, I think.
Which person?
The military person, it wasn't?
Ah, okay. No, is it better now?
Then I can take a snapshot of it and put it up as a screen share if you like. It was a nice drawing to look at.
I have a snapshot I'll send you.
Okay, thank you, Flint. Okay, Mr. Kesh, go ahead. If you can. We're not hearing you, Mr. Kesh, or at least I'm not here.
No, it's not just you, Rick.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Thank you, yes.
Back. Okay, we have to change server. What I was saying, when we met the military man, the man of military who's a weapon strike technology, head of weapon strike technology, I understood the man is not happy with his position, and my wish was him not to be there. And very shortly afterwards, he moved on. He left the job. The point is, our wish has to be our way of bringing peace. And as I said, we are working in that direction. As I said, I don't know if you heard it, that we gave the world leaders till 21st, 22nd of December to organize and come with a position regarding the world peace. It did not happen, and I said we take over, and we have taken over. Very soon you will hear about our work. We will make the difference, but we is not me, is us as the followers, and the wish of us to have a peaceful life. It's the response even to the souls who have not heard about the Keshe Foundation, but the wish is world peace, end of wars. It takes time, but we are very good at it. We will deliver. A lot of world leaders need to understand the wish through the soul, and then they become servant to their souls and the soul of their nations, and as one nation to the soul of humanity. Try to understand something very simple I've been teaching a long time in the medical side. Start to understand the process of connecting with your soul. Start to understand the process of connecting to your emotion, that you can reach the soul. In some of the health teachings I teach, and I've taught in the past that, for example, if you have a finger which is not functioning the way it's supposed to, is paralyzed, or is not moving. In teachings, we explain that you go to your emotion, you go into your brain, and you send the information to the finger to move, and you follow it through your arm, to your hand, to the finger, but you don't move it. You just test that the information comes there. Then you do the same thing for the second time, but you don't move it. You don't even take intention of moving the physicality to match the emotion. Then I teach that this time, the third time, you send the information from the emotion that I want the finger to move, and then you inform the physicality to follow the emotion. And then you try to move the finger. And it works. It needs practice, and it works. Those who have done it have seen it, how beautifully it works. Scientifically, scientists in Liverpool University, a couple, not married, but a man and a woman, scientists trying to support the sports people, have replicated it, and it works. Now, reverse the process. Send the physicality and through the emotion without moving the finger, from feeling hot on the tip of the finger, and then try to feel the emotion of the heat in your brain. You start establishing how to go through your physicality, through your emotion, and then try to see how your soul responds. This is the way you connect to your soul. You bring your physicality. I want this physicality to change, that here I don't feel a pain. The temperature is too high for me, but I want to be comfortable where my soul is physically happy. This is the process which we are trying to teach. It's not reversal. Up to now it was magnetical. I'm trying to teach you the gravitational and the feedback. And the feedback goes to the soul, that because next time he has to reflect back to give out as magnetical. You got to understand the reality. You got to understand the truth. You got to understand the essence. It's no use, as I said in the teachings in Barletta, I could see the guy sitting there when I said with your emotion he can move. He used to press his eyes and arms, I'm pushing it, but it's not moving. There is something wrong with the, he's wrong. But he never understood. If you understand the essence of the soul of whatever it is, and you ask it to move because it'll give me pleasure, it will move. This is what we got to learn. This is the reason we announced last week is going to be one of the most important teachings. Those who are physical and feeble, they laughed. There was nothing there. Those who were wise saw the wisdom in the deep space travel. If you understand that within the plasma of a matter sits the plasma of every matter, sits the plasma of the connection with the universe, then you understood. You can lock into any condition anywhere in the universe and travel within zero time. Those are who are wise will understand in centuries what has been spoken. Go back in, if it's hard to understand, to this point. You remember, can I share please? Can you allow me to share? Thank you. If it's hard to understand, go back to basic principles. I try to see if I can do it in a very simple way that you can follow. I choose this one. No, I choose this one. If you remember, this was a plasma. If you remember, this was another plasma. I'm not good at it. Let's see if I can go backwards. If you remember, this is very hard. I'm going to go back to my own simple writing. Oh, I'm going to go back there.
Mr. Keshe, it's easy. You can move the dots and you can enlarge it or close it, the picture.
Yeah, but you're good at it. I haven't got that technical yet.
Okay.
If you take a very simple plasma, there is a problem with this pen. I think that's the problem. If you take a single plasma and consider layers by layers of the plasma, on this side, in respect to above, you are magnetical. On this side, Regarding to here on this side, you are gravitational. Hydrogen, copper, uranium. A lot of people tell me, why do you keep on speaking about uranium, plutonium? I'm a nuclear physicist. The first metal comes to my head is that. I've been trained that way. Now, convert this into another way you understand. Take a magnet. You are magnetical and you are gravitational up to your understanding today or recently. But now you know while you're magnetical, you're gravitational too. And reverse. Now, go back. What about other entities? What about other things which carry the same? You are magnetical to one or gravitational to the other. You understood how you can go in a matter state from one to another. Now you understand how you can go magnetical and be in one position or the other, if you understood the essence of the soul. Can I be in different places at the same time? If you understood the operation of the soul, yes. You become like a loudspeaker coming from the same deck, one speaker in one room and one speaker in the other. But you have to understand the line of connection. It's the first time I teach this, but for you have to understand what it means. In reality, you have done it all the time, but you have never understood the process. You sit at work, physically doing something, but the emotion is handling something else. This is the multitasking of the soul of the man, which man has never understood. You are with one person and your mind is somewhere else with another person doing the business while you're having and talking about homework with your child. You can do the same with the soul of the man, but it needs expertise. It needs understanding of the truth and the reality of the presence of the soul, the position of the physicality of the soul. Because now, like, as you've seen, you are connected to different points because of the field strength. But it comes to a point to ask, which all of you know, and in the present world of science, they call it different stages of sleep. Where does the soul of the man goes when the body of the man is at rest? Or is the physicality of the motion, is the time part of the soul gets engaged with the physicality of the environment of the existence? We do not teach, we enlighten. It's for you to understand, to enlighten yourself. Many times in the teachings I explain what language do the children speak when they come out of the womb of the mother in China, in India, in Africa, or South America. bring them together, they don't see, but they feel and they know the hierarchy of their position. What language does the soul of the universal community speaks that we understand in the essence, but we have ignored for the sake of survival in the physicality of the village of the earth? This is the enlightenment. This is why in the teachings before the Christian New Year, I said we have finished with the teaching, now we start teaching the language of universal community. The language of existence means understanding the process of the interaction of the soul of the man. Where does the soul go when the body is at rest? Where, in which dimensions? Why do we dream when we are asleep? Or actually, is our physical existence the dream of our soul? Why do we see and contact and communicate with the things we don't do during the daytime, but at rest we do? And the next few weeks or days things happen. I had a dream about this. I had a premonition. I saw this a few seconds ago. Because the souls have already have seen before you do, because it was set up to be that way. Because you have ignored your own true existence. And this is our job. To open a channel for the man to have control, not control, but interface interaction in the operation of his own soul. Then I shall not steal. Because if you steal from yourself, half of the information goes and the other half is not there, so you have half of the body. This is the teaching of the space technology. The waters, the ganses, the pens and the pads is how we have to keep the mans of materialistic world happy. And we have to do. But it's taken time to bring those who understand to this level now, that they start finding a path through their own physicality and emotion to where the physicality and emotion came from, the soul of the man. This is where now we enter the true space technology. Where we have finished with ganses and God knows nano-material. Now we have to use the Gansa body of the man, the nano skin of the man, to use the line of communication of the field of this plasma of the Gansa of the man to reach the soul of the man. And then through it decide where we want the soul to manifest itself, in what shape or form, according to the environment of its appearance. It's getting a tough going. You work so hard to make the nanomaterials, you work so hard to make the ganses, you work so hard to make these covers to fly, and you work so hard to get these generators going. Now the guy goes to another dimension, what are we going to do with this one now? Nothing, understand it. Embrace it and fly with me. The spaceship of my heart embraces the humanity. It's not changing the goalpost, it's extending the understanding of the soul of the man. But you had to see the physicality. I put the thing in the nanomaterial, I put some water in it. It goes from alkaline to acidic, but it's the same, magnetical to gravitational. So it must be a field force, it does something. Now you have seen it working. That GANs, that container, that ball is your body and the embodiment of what it holds. Use the fields to reach the soul of the man, and through it you'll reach the soul of universal community. This is the secret of the teaching. But I always say, I have to feed you with turning your hand around your neck to feed them up. But that's part of the teaching process. This is the burden of the teacher to understand till he carries the students across the line. I'm not interested in nano coating. I'm not interested in the GANs. I know the path of the soul. But it had to be done. I remember when we taught the nano material and then we went to the GANs, everybody shouting how, oh, now he's gone to something else. We lost half of the people who were coming with us with nanomaterial. It was something they could touch. Now it came this. Now he spoke about the plasma and we don't see it anymore, but it does something. Now we enter the true space technology, the true essence of the creation. It's you who have to give it the physicality, and it's you who have to live with the physicality. Now you have become the creator of your own creation. Now you are the God. Now you know if you do wrong with the physicality, you have to pay back with the soul which created it. And I shall not steal. Then you live the life across the universe. Now this is the next step of teaching. You wanted a generator because you has to be one electricity. Go to your soul, you walk warm and cold, doesn't matter wherever you go. A few days ago around Christmas, I was working. It's so hot that even the sweat was dripping from the tip of my tie. And I said, you know, so foolish. We have the knowledge to change the structure here without any cooling system at 24 degrees, but we have to stay here because that's what it is now. The plasma is not a structure that you put it, this is the principle, this is the transition, this is the matter state. What is a transition to me is my matter, what is your soul part is my transition. Man has to understand the totality of the operation according to interaction which is needed or want to be present at the time of interaction. We've done it so many times, we never understand. Have you seen a man on the phone sitting next to a mistress and talking to the wife on the line? Shouting down the line, it's not that it cannot be done, you don't understand. Holding the phone says, oh darling, I love you. Where does it sit, the love of creation? Or have we decided to be position, condition, present? This is what we have to understand. This is what the new teaching is about. The goalpost has moved from the gans into the soul of the man. And God help you, man. I hope you understand. Understanding it will open the key to the universal community. Disgracing it shackles the man to the world of physicality and all its problems. The time of transition is harsh because got used to it too long. The problem is not a problem till there comes the time of transition. Accepting and understanding the acceptance is the biggest problem. As I said, I read many comments. Why has he gone to GANs now? He was teaching us nano-material and he was perfect. We made all these cores with the gases, now he's gone into little balls with ganses. Now, we change the containment. It's the physicality of the man with the ganses in it and the soul of the man inside it. Try to operate it. Those who achieve it will enter the universal community in no time. And when they talk about it to the others, they say, you're stupid, you're dreaming, because it's beyond the limit that they have not understood themselves, cannot handle. As I always say, when I was in Tehran 8 years ago, the guy said to me, my uncle came from Moscow in 40s, 50s, and says, in Russia, I was in Moscow, they have something which is a metal but flies, they call it flying metal bird. And they laughed at him and said, so you cannot fly. And a few months later, they went to the airport and one of these metal things landed in Tehran. And he said, I told you, I've seen what you see. That time I was stupid and ridiculous. Now we are all stupid because we all accept it. In Afrikaans they call it a metal bird. Since when the metal flies? Now we have come to accept it because we put engines on it. We have to come to accept the transitional transfer of our souls because now we found the engine to it. The maturity of the man comes from understanding his own soul and no further. Because then if you understand it in a later position, you want the spanner to open a nut, you have to go and buy the spanner. If you understand the operation of the conversion of the energy, you have two choices. You create a spanner in your hand and open a nut, or you understand the nut is made of collection of the fields and it has the essence of existence. You transfer the energy of the wanting or the disposition and it satisfies your need according to accommodation you make for it. Do you need a spanner? Or you have the spanner of the universe? When we speak this way at this moment, it's all like talks because it's very far for you to imagine. It takes a few time till you make the core and you put the gases on it, find a motor and rotate it and see things move and you achieve 129. And those who can't understand, they tell you it's wrong, he's cheating. But you understood, you've seen 129, you are enlightened. Let the fools be fools. You have reached the destination of the creation. Now, how would you like to put this body of the man on a motor and rotate it at 5000 RPM? That you can separate his juice, his gans, and find the soul in the center. Any volunteers? Any of you can stand 7000
That's a
RPM?
really good point. That was the exact RPM I put out with my globe of water that I was rotating and trying to get a center bubble in it. And that would be the central
Find
core.
principle.
But yet, you're saying it's not, you can't just do that to get the core of a human or to
You
get at
can
the
do.
soul
You
that
can
way.
do.
But
You can do.
you can only do it once, perhaps.
Depends
You
if you
can
can
do it. The
hold
catch is you
the
can only do it
physicality.
once in each incarnation, in each entity, perhaps.
Yeah, but what you gonna do with the soul you separated in the middle?
Right.
How would you like to put it back together again?
And then it would be in a different environment. It wouldn't Humpty Dumpty wouldn't necessarily go back together again the same way.
You never know. If you got the right glue and you find all the pieces.
I suppose. But like you say, once you if it gets hard-boiled egg, then and you try to smash them together and so on, it's a different situation. But
This
in any
is
case,
how, and people like Rick, who started these teachings programs with the nano-material and the ganses and the cores, now they understand you have two choices. And the choices are very, very simple. The secret of the communication and interaction in physicality sits with what we call the potential difference and the current flow. It's you who dictates what the potential difference is going to be, and it's you who decides through the soul how much emotion is passed on to be the current of the flow in respect to the environment. It's as simple as that, no more. Is to understand the totality. Is to be the essence. To become part of it, to understand the position of it. Is to be in essence the totality of the total. To be part of the plasma of the universe than being on your own. Then you can transfer, position yourself. In the coming time, in the time when the man understands, go back to the position of the magnets. It's you who changes the strength of the emotion and the physical appearance of the matter state of the energy, that you can move yourself across the universe without doing anything. You just change the rate of the giving and taking, and then it positions you where you want and where you fit. Or you become the nomads of the universe. You change it and you land somewhere you don't know where you are. It says, okay, we spend some time here till we would like to move on. It's you who have to understand with this knowledge, have and should be able to control the giving and taking from the soul. That not giving and taking is like the magnets dictates the positioning. You remember when you put the circle magnets next to each other, if it's stronger, the distance is more. Now we have the reactors which can do, we call it magnet positioning. You can soul position yourself. It takes time. We set up the knowledge, we set up the course of the line to achieve it. It's for you to understand it. Otherwise, it's another sound. In time and in the past, many have achieved it and will achieve it. And then you find out the path to it comes from the attachment of the soul, from the physicality. Then you understand through the line of communication of the emotion and the soul, you give it any physicality you like. Wherever I lay my head is my home. The head of the man is the soul of the man, and the home is where he makes his physicality to rest on it, to hold on to it, to contain it, and to enjoy the sharing of the souls or the fields of it with others. I guide, I don't teach. I enlighten, I don't force. Now, people like Amen are banging their head. Now he's gone from the core to the coil, and the coil, now where I'm gonna find the soul. It all finishes with one thing. It's got the O in it, which is the universe. Try to understand the strength of your emotion. Try to understand what that emotion can interact and position. Try to understand the capability of the soul. Then the physicality will be child play. Try to position your soul and test it. Start with little by little. Then as you get confidence, you find a pathway of the motorway to it, and you can do with the speed you like. That's what I said, the computers and the control system of present are useless, because you speed with the speed of beyond imagination, and you want to control physicality, you go through it. Will not be able to contain man in a space with aluminium frame. That's why you make the frame out of the plasma, to stand the condition of the soul in control of the craft. Go back to my teaching, which I always said, computers are too slow. It's the man thoughts and emotion will create condition of the motion, and with it, the plasma of the craft according to the environment. Now you understand. Go back to the teaching of about a year ago, where we put the spaceship as dots on the ground with the pictures. And a year later, we see the interaction and action of those fields by John in Arizona, with little blips. Now we have to make the transition of the emotion to the matter state, that you see the physicality of the craft. There is a discussion, there is a school of thoughts that they say, there are nations who are in touch with those from outside. We've always been in touch with humanity from outside. Never stopped, and never stop. We know the path of the soul to the man and his greed and his connection. Understanding of the interaction of the fields of the plasma of the different strength leads man to his soul. But it has to be to understand that in that path needs a stronger field than physicality, which is free, and you call it emotion. Any question?
Good morning, Mr. Keshe.
I was expecting your answer.
She's quick. I got on the microphone right away, but she beat me.
She beat you, no problem. Go ahead.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Azar.
Last time, actually, when you spoke
Can you speak a bit louder?
Yes.
I know it's about what time, 5 or 6 o'clock in New York.
Yes, it's
but I hope you're awake and loud.
I'm awake, Mr. Keshe. You know, last time you spoke, actually, I thought it was a very, very important teaching, and then we're trying to transcribe it because we think it's just like the world of Baha'u'llah, it has a lot of hidden world that we have to really understand, because sometimes being in physicality makes us not to be able to understand certain things that you're talking about. And actually, sometimes after you're speaking, if I fall asleep, I usually have dreams, and then you're always in it. And last time, usually in my dream, when I woke up, two things dawned on me. And one was our language is so primitive, although we have so many vocabularies, and it is so primitive because we created the language to kid and lie and to cover ourselves up. But the true language is connection of the mind. Once we make that connection, we talk through emotion, which is beautiful. And we talk, if someone love you, the love of emotion is beautiful. The second thing dawned on me is everything we created outside ourselves, like a home, a plane, or a car, or even a cup that we drink from, is inside of us. When we wanted to have it in physicality, but we no longer even have to do that. We made the earth so cluttered because it's just like a desktop. Our body is, we can have folder of everything we want inside. If I want to have a home, I can create home anywhere I want and just be there. Or if I want to fly, I can do that. But it just, the way I felt, it was so great. And so I just want to share that. And second thing is, we always talk about emotion, going from emotion to the soul. But one thing is not clear for me. If you can explain in detail, how can we practice and recognize that emotion, and how can we do it to get to the soul? Because it still for me is a puzzle. Is it the love? Is it the fear? When we talk about emotion, is those kind of emotion or something like an inner emotion, something that I'm supposed to feel? I need some kind of a detail or instruction to understand.
The emotion we talk about is line of the communication from the beginning to the point of manifestation of the what we call delivery of expectation. You call it fear, you call it love. If you are strong enough to be within it, you still need or have a center to stronger that its flow allows for you to be a part of the transition of it. The transition doesn't come from the center of the plasma to another point. It passes all the elements of the what is available and the strength of it. What this means? It means there is always a higher strength that it needs to be dissipating, that it reaches to the point of your existence. So there is always a what we call intermediary, a time of transition. There is no other way. If you were at the center, is non-existence, is standstill. So at any stage, does not matter what our comprehension is, we are still in the path from the beginning to the point of manifestation of comprehension. You might be able to shorten the emotion that is instantaneous, but still from the soul to physicality has to happen. So you call it the transition time, you call it the emotion, it's all the same. Any other question?
Thank you.
Thank you.
There was a question from EC on the live stream chat. He says, how do souls proceed to the next level after death of the physical body, and what is the roadmap?
The roadmap of the soul is, if you live in England, you go up M1, somewhere in junction 19, you turn left on M6, you drive for another while, and the junction 19 again takes you to Manchester. This is the roadmap. Souls don't have a roadmap. The map of the soul is delivered by the soul itself according to its comfort and presence. Will make you soul GPS sometimes, maybe in the future. At the moment, does not exist in the universe.
Okay, well, EC has another question that kind of goes along with that, which goes, If nothing happens when trying to understand any soul teaching, doesn't mean I am too disabled on the emotional side and death is my only hope of enlightenment.
Why does man see death as an end or change? So when you can connect your soul and manifest yourself somewhere else, you die in one place and you will come alive the other place, or it's the same soul, you look different. Soul is the collection of the free existence of the fields without the attachment once you die of the physicality. But still itself has manifestation of existence in respect to the environment which is existing. Any other question? If you understood the teaching of last week and this week and the way we'll carry on, you'll soon understand, and a lot of you will try. You try hard to reverse back the heat and feel it and show your emotion. And then you will start getting in touch with your soul. Then through it, you will create the condition of the transfer. It takes time. The time it took you to make the nano-material and the GANs and the cores and everything else, it'll take longer or very, very instantaneous. Depends on the clarity of the soul and understanding of the knowledge and the use of the
Um, Anonymous says, today Mr. Keshe, your talking has answered more questions I have since going out of body. I am proper thankful and grateful for your sharing. And then Akshar says, do the fields of the GANs and the reactor systems align our physicality to emotion and soul?
You can use it. Arman has done it once or twice and he jumped it, but I don't say anything. Arman has a beautiful soul, but he's too busy. He's born too young, 7 months, so he jumps things, he doesn't say it. I've seen it once clearly done by Dr. Elia Kostova when she was in Desensano. But she wasn't aware of it. But Arman has saw it and tried to repeat it. He repeated it, but he never understood it. Making cup of life, making the cores, making things which I've done with especially the core members, it's just been a path of trying to put the essence of the creation of the soul in a physical matter that they could understand. Because this is, man is physical. There is a connection between the physical dimension and the soul. We call it emotion. But if you find the path of it, understand the process of it, it's a transportation across the same media. Because matter itself is a plasma, but at a given strength, where the soul is a plasma itself has a different strength. But they are all plasmas, they are all transfer of fields. Try to not to shortcut, try to understand the path. the method, the understanding, then you have achieved it. Any other question?
We have someone in the live stream that would like you to describe consciousness.
Why should I describe? You explain. What is consciousness to you? Behavior of the physicality has nothing to do with the soul. Or witnessing through the soul the behavior of the conduct of the physicality. With no emotion. Go back to some of the teaching we done before. I always say what we eat is 20% of what we take from our environment. The other 80% is absorbed through the fields and given through the fields out. Because we can't just always take. We give that we can take. We empty the cup into the energy of the universe, and the universe gives what we need. Now, by the same standard, only 20% of the emotion of the man carries through the what we call reflexes of the neurosystem. The other 80% is free flow between the point of delivery to the extent of the emotion and the soul. Because it's so fast, matter state, gans state, superconductivity of the nerve is still too slow. We call it reflexes sometimes. Or we take actions without knowing. Caroline watches videos, which is fantastic, some of them. A child, the father is asleep, a child is on the sofa, and he just topples over to fall off. The father in his sleep just grabs the child. The body is at rest. The soul watches its responsibility, which the soul is given life to. Because at the time of sleep, there's no reflexes. We know all the ways our soul works, but up to now we could not explain it, we could not understand it. We always put some other things to it because physically has had some meaning to it. Now it doesn't, because we understand more or less, we hope we understand more or less more, that we can explain it and we can use it. In this training, I watch my sons playing ninjutsu. They close their eyes, one of them, and the other one tries by just feeding the fields of the other one, what it is and what might do. And as part of their training in martial arts, they have to stand in the middle or be in the middle with 4 or 5 people, expecting which person's going to move next against them. It's not that they feel the emotion, they feel the soul, they open up, but it hasn't been developed. This is why Eastern, what we call defense, like martial arts, goes extend slightly in that direction, to extend this physicality through emotion, through the soul of the man, because the soul extends the whole of the planet and universe, trying to assess and feel. We need to get trained. You cannot go out of the door and run a marathon and win. It takes years of experience, years of training. The first day maybe 20 meters, then 100 meters, then a few weeks, half a kilometers, and then build it up. But You have to understand, to win a marathon needs too much effort of physicality. To understand the work of the soul is so simple. We do it all the time. We have forgotten it. We haven't forgotten it, but in forgetting it, it had made for us. He does his job, I do my physical part. When I need, I contact. Our own denial is the cause of our own problem.
That brings up the question from Denise, it seems here in the live stream. Am I the director, or is my soul the director?
Oh, there is a soul problem of who directs and who is the producer.
A problem of
Director,
identification of who's
producer,
who.
and the artwork is all sits in one place. Don't forget, at the end of the day, it's your physicality which shows the emotion and the delivery of the behavior of the physicality. So, was it the soul moved your arm, or is you who moved the arm because the guy was pushing you?
Okay, Mr. Kesh, are all the creatures in the universe, do they speak the same language or understand each other?
Yes, of course. We understand it too, but it's part of. I explained this to a scientist very recently. I explained to you if you understand it. In the body of the man, the information flow in respect, let's say, to immune system is so much that will occupy the whole of the brain operation in traffic of the information from, let's say, one place to another. For reproduction, the brain has decided to carry a separate colony or a position or substation as a gland. In our soul transformation into understanding of the physicality, our soul is aware of the communication of universal language. The physical part has been made the brain of the man for it to handle this physicality, what I operate in the universal condition. The gland is our brain. The substation for the soul, at least he can leave it to do his work while he's busy with the physicality occupation of walking, changing, selling, cold, flu, or whatever. Very interesting part. Look and go and understand now with the latest technology, with scans and MRIs, how they locate which part of the brain is responsible for the hand, top, right, legs on the same parallel and the rest. What happens from the soul to that position of the arm? Why do you have different layers of the nerves and say, oh, this is for consciousness, this is for blah, blah, blah? Because it needs to reduce the strength of such a strength from the soul to the point of physicality that it gets in touch. When you touch, you feel burn. The soul, the brain, the emotion feels the neurosystem on the brain, not on the finger. That's how it's done. When you put a needle in your finger, you feel the pain. The emotion does not go so much the location. It's already felt by the position of the brain in respect to that cell. The filtering from the soul to that position in the brain, which reduces the strength, that it can feel the emotion in the strength of that field as a matter state of the position of the nail. This is what the world of science never understands about the operation of the brain and the physicality. This is the problem. This is where our physicality of finding a line, we call it the nerve and neural system, leads us, and we say this is it. Where does it go? How come it goes in one point and then suddenly disappears inside this disc? And then we say this part is responsible for the hand and the arm, and this is responsible for, you heard me many times I teach this. Side of the ear is for the fingers, just above the ear is your hand. Across the top to the middle is your lower arm. Inside the brain going up to is your upper arm. Then is the shoulder, because it's closer to your brain, to your soul. But in fact, the neural system responsible, it doesn't go a line connected. It works by the transmission of the field and the interaction at that point with the emotion of the soul. Voila. All the biological books written about the brain into the bin. Now you understand the truth. You can go, and when the science of man delivers further, you can touch a specific point and you say, I want the tip of the left finger to feel pain. And you just feel the energy on a certain point on the brain and you feel the pain. Is there a wire connected to that single cell? Or the energy level with that is zero-time communication and you feel it. This is how you return people from coma out, back out. You operate the brain and then the brain connects it to the cell. Through not neural system, but the space of the field. Man has got a lot to learn even about his own physicality. Let alone the soul of the man. Today is a glorious day. One day we explain to you why. Any other question?
Mr. K, I have one more question. You remember there was a teaching that you were talking about your personal life, and you were in London with Caroline, and you were in location that you said that they set you up, and you called the guy who was in charge, and you were yelling at him, and about what they done to you. Whatever you felt at that moment, your emotion, the way you're reacting, is it normal reaction?
In a way, that's a physical reaction. And in a way, you got to understand the way we think, the way we work. I don't look at the next step. I look at the totality, what it brings at the end. Our goal in that meeting was to show, to bring, to, in a way, show the missile technology was useless. That's what I went there. Said, I've got a better, your missile technology is useless. The goal was 20 years ago to bring disarmament, to show the new technologies are useless. Let's talk about something more. In 20 years since that, actually, what's it, 2005? It's 12 years now. 2004, 13 years now. In 13 years, if we would have achieved understanding, we would have saved millions of lives being killed by the Americans. Because the guy was right on the top, one of the heads of Lockheed Martin. Am I responsible for death or the soul of the totality? We react according to the time and what our physicality is, but the whole lot is the end. Many times I sat in Toronto airport with this guy across threatening to kill me and showing me guns to the head. And I said, one day you will see the return of your action. What puzzled them with tens of offices in next rooms and next rooms asking questions from him, I laughed at them. I thought I'm just so stupid. You don't even know what is in the pocket, in the suitcases, and what you carry. The decision was to steal. The decision was to disgrace. The woman who wrote it, we've seen how she got disgraced in the last election in the United States. Bigger embarrassment, bigger shame. I don't look at, I have to act as, behave as part of the physicality, but the ultimate goal is achieving what we want to achieve, unification of mankind as one, and world peace, and opening into universal community, which is the end product. It won't happen over time. Then we hypnotize, as we said earlier on, only 6-year-old girls were Mr. DL and hypnotized, and nobody knew up to that. Now we open the secret, the same we did with Mr. Sterling when we announced we know his victims are his children. Now we open the hand of DL. Couldn't we do this a few months ago to save other children? But the security services had to do their work. If you live anywhere in Europe, call the Interpol and show the page and show us the hypnotism. That's how they've done the children. That's why there's so much rubbish written about us on the internet by the same man, because we inform his children that we know how they've been abused, and by hypnotism he thought nobody would understand. And the writing became harsher. Now go on the internet, look at the happy cube, and you'll be cubically happy. 6-year-old girls, children, for free ticket to cinema. We know the consequences. But we have to allow the authorities to do their job. Pedophiles find ways to do things. We cannot stop the wars. We try to create the tools.
Mr. Keshe, there's a question that came up. I wasn't going to ask it, but now that you brought that up, I think it's important. It's Akshar asks, is pedophilia a gravitational requirement for the souls who commit atrocities against others? It's kind of a strange question.
It's
but
so
maybe
shameful, better not to discuss. These people have no essence. These people have no, there is no place for the soul of people like this. As you know, we stood a lot. You, Rick, went to near a heart attack when Sterling brought the live stream down the first time and the second time.
that was a rough time, yeah. Not just from the live stream, but from the emails and various communications
and now
so on.
we
Threats.
just we took it. You and I and the rest of the team took the whole width of it. And up to today we kept quiet about DL. And now it's on the internet, because now we are working with the security forces for his arrest. Because there were others involved in it, we had to get the whole team. We stood. Our websites came down. How much rubbish is written about us every day by the same man? Because we saw the same with Sterling. He went rampaging every day, any rubbish, because he knew we are at him, we're going to get him. Now we got, please go and see why are you prepared to give a 6-year-old daughter or girl for a free cinema ticket. It's on the internet. Because the girl didn't need to go to cinema. The pictures are already taken while he's hypnotized. It's the expertise. Jekyll and Hyde. And they advertise it. Everything is written so open. Sterling went and he put everywhere, I am a pedophile, but nobody can touch me because I have a biggest judge behind me. We saw what happened to the judge. And now we see what's going to happen. Please inform the police across Europe and see how many children have taken a picture of for a free ticket to the cinema. They can't even remember. That was the key that nobody could prove. Now we have hypnotism, expert, and all the tools of holistic sexual tools. State of the mind is on the internet and nobody could get it. Now we got it. Inform the police of Belgium with all the references. We put everything. We have 1 terabyte on in the activities. It will be set up, the facts about DL, and pass it on. This is how we collaborate with the FBI, with the Sterling. Now we can do it the same. How scientists were killed the same way. We have the link, we can give it to you now, but there's so many people with him, around him, that international police is working on it. That's why we took so much. And a lot of people tell me, why do you let this guy write all this rubbish about you? I can take it. I'm big enough to take it, you lot couldn't. Now you understand why. Happily cubed for children under 6. And we sell these things to branded name across the world. The only thing nobody asked, how many children taking pictures? They can't remember because I'm a hypnotist. I do whatever I like. I take all the pictures I like and put it on the internet. I earn a good living out of it and share it with the people, the offices in Kortrijk and the King and the House of the House Lords. It's the same with, what you call it, the guy in Sierra Leone, which is very close to Sterling. The same, with the same as DL, they take picture of the sick people as the translators of the children documents for the hospital in the United States, and they sell the sick children. We inform them. Kumaran, the guy who set up the Facts About the Keshe Foundation, Facts About Keshe Foundation. So Kumaran works for a company. He's sacked now by it, and the company sacked him to cover themselves because they're in child trafficking. They were selling sick children pictures back in the United States, transporting sick children to a state to be abused because they are. We have found a lot about Mr. Kumaran and Facts About Keshe Foundation. And he brought in by DL. Now you see how pedophiles work together. And the 3 websites all end up with these 2 guys, and the other one has gone already 25 years in prison. Go on the Facebook of Sterling, you find both of these guys on top rank. Child trafficking, even the sick, they have no mercy on. The company is in the United States and in Sri Lanka. You call them. They deny he doesn't work here anymore. They sacked him. We send an email out. I'm going to kill Keshe because I lost my job. He told my company no. The company found out we understood what they're up to. Curse of God on the soul of these people. Let's talk about better things. The process you have to think is how you can interact with your own soul. Now you have to understand how you can work with your own soul. How you cannot touch another soul till you understand the working of your own soul. Because when you interact is to give and not to take. And when you give, you receive more. Try to, you should have done a lot of, you should have achieved this point. That the connection You used, you understood through your emotion, you react physically where your emotion carries the essence of your soul in interaction with the other souls. Now try to learn the reverse, but don't put yourself in a centrifuge. It'll be very hard to get the soul back together again to its physicality. This way, go back to the teaching on the potential difference, on a field difference between your manifestation of physicality and your emotion, and the flow of the fields to get to physicality from the soul. It takes not that much. It takes less than the time it took Armand to build up his cores and put them on the set. I have to tell you something. I spoke just now about happily cubed. Do you know what we have found out? What the L does? They put children in a cube and they take the pictures from them naked. That's what is called cubically happy. You didn't know it's the same as the story of the pizza which is going on in the United States. We have unraveled the whole secret of how it's happening. 6-year-old children, girls, fit perfectly into a cube for the misconduct of the hypnotist. Now you know the truth, Mr. DL. We'll give you more. It's all in black and white, all recorded. They cannot erase it because it's on the internet memory. It's kept in the archives. It's one of the 70,000 list of names which has just been released a few months ago by Interpol. DL heads the list. Good morning, Mr. Lorenz. You are caught. Any other question?
I have a question.
Pardon?
I have a question. Can I use silver nitride for treating latent tuberculosis?
Can you speak a bit slower that I can understand, please?
Can I use silver nitride for treating latent tuberculosis?
I don't know. And if I know, I can't tell you. Not on this program. Silver nitride, as we explained in one of the teaching, has a connection with the nitrogen of the amino acid, and silver has the behavior of the potassium, which gives energy to nitrogen. Depending on the condition, if you create the way you produce it and the way you bring the interaction, the way it feeds, the way it works, the way silver, because of its radioactivity in its isotopes, in the cycle of its decay, works because it has both positive and negative on a switching alternative. It creates a what we call backflow. If you look at the decay cycle, scientifically go into the decay cycle of most of the isotopes of silver and potassium, you see B plus B minus, B plus B minus, which means there is a switching. There is a current flow. It has to switch. And the energy surplus between this switching is what the body uses. This is what is done in the generators. If you remember the generator, which was shown a few months ago, where Douglas was showing two motors switching back and forth. One has the current in positive in respect to the other, and one has a potential difference in respect to, and that switching comes. Just don't look that these are the isotopes. As a nuclear physicist, I look at the switching of the power. And when there is a switching, every time you switch, some energy is released or absorbed. That's how radioactive material in the cycle of the body of the man works. It's not just that they do this. It's the isotope cycling, the microsecond switching, nanosecond switching, energy release. It's just like a quartz. Switch back and forth. In that switching, energies are released or absorbed, and then if it is, because it's connected to nitrogen, is near the structure of the amino acid, then it depletes or surpluses. And then that's how these things work. This is how it, what you call, cures. We know there's a scientist who actively promoting nano silver. I support such a science, but the reason is the ambiguity in the science. Now we have cleared it. We had a meeting with a couple of our people in the past few days with a scientist who says for the first time he tries and he can explain how the GANS water plasma works, and he will publish his papers in June, July in different articles in what you call the published magazines at peer review that the plasma GANS is correct. And they show the effects of it. And in reality, all we do, we put the plasma GANS on a tissue paper, we seal it in a bag, and we give it to the Red Cross, or what you call the Civil Defense of Italy. They've tested it physically, it works. Now scientists have seen it, they're trying to put data to it. We'll have a lot of research data in the next 2 or 3 years will come out of these things. Because the scientists, do you know why? They had a pain, they put the water on it and it works. So it has to have something, I have to put data to it. We thank these scientists. They know, our colleagues on the plant, they should know who I'm talking about. We don't release any more names that they don't become a target of Mr. DL and his team, bunch of pedophiles. You notice we don't show much from people because anybody showed anything on these teachings, they went for them, they threatened their lives and the children's, and people are always vulnerable, but they can do, they hypnotize the child. Now we know how they work. Please send the information to Cortec. We are waiting for the visit from you. Others, to you and your masters. Understand the science, not just does it work. If it works, look at the location. What is the content material? What that bone, that muscle carries. How much of it? And to what extent of it? Yesterday I was in the lab with our scientists with 20, 25 culture plates on the table. And the researcher says to me, Mr. Kesh, you see the first water is good, but the third water, fourth water, something changes. And it was puzzled to us, how could it be? Because it's the same thing, it should be different, it should be the reverse. I went back thinking, walking around the place, I said, I know what it is. Why is culture growing? The reverse. I went back, I said, one of the tanks which this has been used has a problem. We opened up, there was a problem. Otherwise we said, oh, the technology, this thing doesn't work. We found the source. You have to go and find where the interaction comes, logically, not just because it suits you, and then you understand. Try go, the beauty of the present time, and that's why we're teaching, is the access to internet and the knowledge which is on the internet. You know, I was puzzled. I asked our webmasters past years, how do you solve this? And I was surprised. Within seconds, they come up with the answer, or a few minutes. Then I realized what they do. While you're talking to your webmasters, they're typing the problem. He says, what is the question? What's the problem when this is this? And the computer just juggles it up. Ask your question in writing to the God of the internet, and things will pop out. Find the connections. One of the key ways to understand any scientific paper you read is not to read right through the scientific papers. You never understand, because one day is chemistry, tomorrow is biology, and then the other thing. Read the abstract. It says abstract. I have changed it. I said understanding. Read what is the intention, and then you understand what is to be. And usually read the last 3 or 4 paragraphs of the conclusion. Most of the time is set to fit that they say we've done, we've proven. But in fact, look beyond it and see the connection, how they have tried to cover it or they have achieved it. And then you understand the process. Was the school of thoughts with the abstract, reality with the science? I said many times, before I start submitting my papers to, especially when Mr. DL walked into my house, 3 or 4 tables, papers, suitcases. I used to walk with suitcases of papers from other scientists to prove what I say is correct, because there is something here about it in one of the papers, all highlighted with yellow. I never read what was in it, because the process is irrelevant. The school of thought abstracts what trying to do, gives you the understanding of what is somebody else thinking and what is the school of thought behind the thinking. Unless you're trying to set up a parallel process with it. You have a question, does the silver nitride work? I've shown you, put silver nitride, go into the atomic structure, understanding of it. Now, thanks to Dr. Klaus, we are writing the plasma side of things. And then see in that section what materials exist. What is in the joint? What are the factors? What elements are there to interact that you can introduce and remember all the time? Amino acids are weak. So whatever you make in the matter state GANs is stronger. So there are 2 things can happen. You can use the element as an intermediary, the injury or whatever, and you put a weaker mixture and a stronger mixture. 2 to 1 is usually the best. What it means, you work with atomic mass. You take a tissue paper and you measure, you put 5 mil of the GANs plasma you made in one tissue, and you put 10 mil in the other tissue. 2 seal packs, 2 patches, 1 on either side. What happens? The energy transfer, according to the ratio mass, the 10 trying to bring the energy mass of the 5 up, with the middle in there, what is on the positive gravitational magnetical with damage in between gets depleted or receives what it needs. Voila. You are a physicist, scientist, doctor. Understanding the work of the plasma, where the stronger always feed the weaker, to bring it to balance, to be just. This is the story of the universe. You never give. You never take, you always give, that you bring the others in your way. When you take, you're lost. Because you want anything given to co-op. But when you are given, is this I need, this I don't need. I like rice, I don't want potato. I like meat, I don't like chicken. But if I go and grab only the meat and potatoes, which I don't like, the other one I like, it's left over there, it's all wasted. And this is not the way it works. Understand the process of the creation. Understand the balance of the universe. Why you have twin star. One is always slightly weaker than the other, but one carries slightly bigger mass or the volume, and they try to balance. Look at the electron and the proton. One is 1/2000 of mass and one is 2000 of volume, and then they try to balance each other off. And in that process, they move and they interact. The truth about the strength of the electron is not what is written in the books of science. That is why the electron moves so rapidly, but it keeps distance from the proton. Because one has the potential difference, one has the current flow. If I could write the book of physics and electronics, there will be none of these rubbish which is on the net. But because you made system and it works in matter state, it does not work in the real true plasma on the matter structure. Because if plasma of proton was always so strong, it would absorb the electron. But how come it sits there? How come it exists? How come it moves so fast? How come it works in the bandwidth? Or how come it gravitational magnetically positions itself in 360 degree, knows where the next point is? Where I'm going to catch the next one. Rick, are we within our time? We're nearly finished.
Well, we've got another 10 minutes if you go all the way to the hour.
I have to attend a very important meeting for the foundation today. We have to close it early. Please try to understand that we haven't changed the teaching. Now we have showed you the tools. Now we take you to the understanding of what was actual, what we had to teach 3 years ago, which is the introduction of the man into operation of his soul through the operation of his physicality. But we had to see the powers, we had to see the movement, we had to see the existence, that we build trust in ourselves, and then what we do to ourselves is correct. The matter time took a long time, but I hope through the operation of what you understood in matter time, you can reach your own soul, that you can open the door of the universe to yourself and to humanity. You have to understand, we are here to inspire, we are not here to teach. And I go back to what has been achieved in Italy, because this is the opening of acceptance of the medical application by a government. It means they have seen effort, but now the Italian scientists have to write the formulas, how the patches and the pens work and how the water helps the sick. This is a hard work. I thank people from, especially Giovanni, Sabrina, all the Italian team, Dr. Klaus, who went so much to try to get these patches delivered. A few months ago at the disaster point, the French team, the Dutch and the Germans who delivered these boxes, and now you have seen the whole of Europe can benefit by it. You have become a Red Cross in supporting without actually doing what was not needed, but doing the right thing which was needed. And that was to show the technology works. In the coming time, we'll teach more now that we have gone into the real teaching of the understanding of the operation. I try to teach you how to manifest things through operation of your soul in the coming time. But this needs understanding, this needs conversion. As I said, when we changed from the gas core reactors to GANs, there was a lot of hullabaloo. We spent so much time building these cores for gas with the motors, big blocks. Now he puts a ping pong ball and does the same thing better. What is wrong with him? That's the only way I could take you. Now, I take you to the love of the creation. And I hope you enjoyed the trip. Thank you very much for today. See you next week.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Kesh. Okay, let me just put the intro on. Just a second here. Screen share. And thank you everybody for attending the 153rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, January 5th, 2017. And we'll end the live stream now and the Zoom meeting.